Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Town of Swanton Selectboard meeting, December 3rd, 2024, 6 p.m. First item of business is pledge allegiance. Please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, the agenda review. Kathy?
I need to do a new corporate resolution in the bank because tomorrow's been added to the accounts and Brandon is now with us, so he gets.
Item E, resolution.
Yep, perfect.
What kind of resolution do you call it?
It's a municipal corporation corporate banking resolution.
Municipal Corporation.
Banking
Banking.
resolution.
Alright. Nicole?
I'd love to add this survey about the signs, or conversation a little bit more about the signs tonight.
Under Old Town Business. That'll be item E. D will be library weatherization, just because I've already written it in. Earl?
The new road, New Donaldson Road, I don't know if we can discuss it this time, but, has it been completed as far as it looks like it is?
What road?
The new road that, not Donaldson,
Shoalin Road up to the,
yeah, at the
I
highway.
know it was paved up to the highway building. I don't know if they put the top coat on. I did see it was asphalt when I drove up.
I know they did the shoulders too, the gravel on the shoulders.
Why don't I take a look at that and,
Yeah, because we gotta decide, we're gonna close down that little section of road. You know, how we're gonna handle that, and does the
All right.
town actually own the road, or is it one of them lease deals, or, you know?
All right, let's-
The old road.
The old road.
let's bring that up as a topic for next. Let's bring that up as a topic for next meeting.
Yes, we definitely, because.
All right, so you can take that as a note.
Shoreline. And they need to, while we're at it too, remind them they have, they're gonna have to change the name of that section of the shoreline road to 911.
Okay, we can do a little homework to be ready. for
Yeah,
next
find
meeting.
out, I assume we're gonna have to close down, or give up whatever that
Yeah.
little portion, and how that goes about, and what happens to the land afterwards. I don't know if it goes back to the property owners or what. Not sure how that works.
Yeah, we'll do some homework on that. I'm all set. I added library weatherization into Old Town Business, item D. You said you're all set, Steve? Okay.
Yep, and I will need an executive session for personnel.
All right, moving on, meeting topics, minutes, regular select board joint meeting with the village trustees, November 19th, 24. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of our joint meeting on November 19th, 2024.
Do I hear a second? Motion made and seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Public comments for something that's not on the agenda. Moving along, law enforcement, chief. How's the chief doing this evening?
All right, it's been a busy day.
Been a busy day?
Yes. I'm the only one, I was the only one working today, so.
Oh. That can be challenging, I guess. Day probably went by quick.
It did. So you'll see in the town, we responded to 91 incidents, and there's actually probably a few more incidents I realized in discussing this with my administrative assistant after the fact that weren't actually flagged appropriately in this, which is a good example of kind of the system itself. If they're not flagged appropriately, you're not going to be able to pull it out of the system and searching it. But I'll get to that later on. So there are 91 incidents here, and the top 10 incident types. I'm not sure where this discrepancy is. She had kind of 25 traffic stops, but in the summary here on the first page it says 24 traffic stops, 23 directed patrols, 5 crashes, 4 motor vehicle complaints, 4 agency assists, 4 citizen assists, 3 suspicious, 2 threatening, 2 welfare checks, and I'm not sure what the other one is there that's garbled in.
Community outreach.
Yeah, community outreach cards, yeah. So all tickets and warnings were associated with traffic stops. There were no civil tickets, which you will sometimes see up at MBU. There was 1 arrest and 4 arrest charges associated with 1 individual, and this is also related to a drug investigation. So there were 4.75 hours of additional services total. And looking at this, so if you go to the last 2 pages, that's where you'll see the summary of additional services. But within that also is this arrest charge. So the officer, or it's not captured, I should more accurately say, in additional services, but the officer had to follow up, and it's not reflected in this. Again, it's an example of how we're not pulling. It's never going to completely accurately reflect how much work we do. But the officer had to apply for search warrants for a motor vehicle that he seized related to this arrest, and then he had to apply for a search warrant for electronic devices that he also seized during this arrest. So that is a lot of time and energy spent that was not captured by this additional services where the officer had to come in on his off hours
So
to
one-
do that paperwork.
One person got in 4 arrest warrants or whatever, you arrested him for?
No, well, it was 1 arrest representing 1 individual. He was charged with 4 different crimes.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Initially, because he operated, basically the officer was surveilling a location. He saw this vehicle leave the location. I believe it had out-of-state tags. The individual, when the officer tried to initiate a traffic stop, the individual took off at an excessively high rate of speed down Robin Hood, ended up blowing red light at the intersection first, going through the intersection, and then I don't know if he actually crashed or what happened, came to a stop and then attempted to flee. So it turned into, it was a little bit of a mess, but we were able to take him into custody of an individual from the Springfield area of Massachusetts, who is clearly up to no good,
He's like
distributing
just
narcotics.
a tourist, huh?
Yeah, in technically the town, again, but kind of the border of the town and the village there, in that area. So that's essentially it as far as the summary goes, but we have been busy. We're trying to get all of our required training in also, which has been a scramble to get that done here before the end of the calendar year. So it has been busy.
So speaking of that individual, overall, the illegal drug scene, about steady as far as we know, increasing in the area, decreasing, I mean. Yeah,
I would say that it's we've had a substantial downturn in probably the total number of locations that the officers were dealing with since I arrived in 2022, just because we've addressed it so aggressively. But there's still, I mean, it's just a continuous game. New people show up, like this individual. He was new to us, that we have encountered a lot of people from Springfield, Massachusetts, other individuals. So that's a common theme, I guess you could say. But there are at least 2 locations currently that we're taking a hard look at in the town, both locations. So they're involved in drug distribution.
All right, keep at it, thank you.
Chief, when you identify a location that's dealing, or whatever they're doing with drugs, how long does it take you, I know your hands are tied in a lot of cases, before you can actually go in and make arrests and shut it down?
It depends. Each case is a little different, so it depends on whether or not we have cooperating individuals working with us, and we're actually doing drug buy cases. There was one that we recently did in the town where that was the case, and those are very solid cases because the first buy is usually what we call a PC buy, or we're establishing probable cause. Then the officer's applying for a wire warrant, and then the next buys are all recorded, so the evidence is extreme as far as the actual actual sales of narcotics go in these cases. And then depending on how that case evolves, right, it may evolve over time. You know, if you develop information where a target is proceeding out from a large urban area, maybe with some weight on them to distribute up here, we may wait and try to take off that vehicle in transit or once it arrives. So there's many different facets to these investigations, but they are, it's not really like quick. It's not like we can just go and you know, address it. You can do knock and talk style things, but then you're gonna tip your hand as far as the individuals knowing that you're on to what's going on. So there's various different ways to address these issues, but.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Anybody else?
We do have
any luck with applicants at all?
Yeah. So I was just about to say we do have two. I feel like pretty strong applicants that we're going to interview here shortly. One on Thursday, maybe two on Thursday, and we have three, I guess, applicants who could be good. One is she has previous experience in Massachusetts. And so she would be very good, especially if we could get her waived to a level 3 in the state of Vermont. She's looking at part-time work initially, but is looking to come on full-time at some point back into law enforcement because she has a young family. So that's a difficult balance. So she's a very strong candidate, and we have another strong candidate who's also a level 3 certified officer looking to make a move.
Good. Good luck with that.
And I will add that the one officer who we're going to have leaving has changed his mind and is going to stay. So that's also a positive for us.
Good.
Did that put you about fully staffed, Chief?
If we can hire another full-time position, it will put us at fully staffed. But we're still fully staffed except for the additional position we got last year. But it's a good example, like today, for example. So we pushed Officer Gilbert out into the rotation. He was our admin officer. Now we have an admin assistant. There's a lot to that job responsibility. So Officer Gilbert really had a specialized skill set in doing all the administrative work in the agency. She is getting up to speed, so we pushed him out into the rotation so we weren't struggling to cover those weekend shifts. So he's flipping with another officer, but when one of those day shift officers takes time off, and they're on the weekday rotation, I'm the only one left. So like today I'm working alone. So it's difficult. We have no buffer. We're such a small agency. And then I'm ending up with a lot of casework that's very involved. But it's interesting.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh,
Hey, there, as far as health related.
Good night.
incidents,
Can I change?
tonight, there were none in the past month. However, pleased to report, as far as I know, as Susie Kelleher's appointment was sent down, they actually did act on it, or they were supposed to act on it yesterday, because they only do that on the first of the month. So I had not heard officially that she'd been appointed, but she's receiving email from the health department advising of training that she should attend.
She's on too, just so you know.
Oh. Hi, Susie. And so she.
Hi.
Hi.
hello.
Have you have you received anything from other than that email on the training from the health department?
No, I just received the training that starts tomorrow for equity, and then next week on the 10th for THL 101, but I didn't get an appointment or anything in the mail or in email.
I'll send them an email tomorrow and ask. They'll mail it to you, so we know how that may take a while, but I'd just like to hear from them that you have been appointed, so we can change the website and get everything all going. So, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Under the highway department, revised new road takeover policy that was sent along with the agenda for tonight. Don't know if there's any just further discussion, we did add the 30-day period, which you had mentioned before, and just as an update, Maple Grove Estates will not be coming in this fall regarding any takeover or maintenance agreement or anything there. It'll be in the springtime. They did not put the top coat on, and they're now have that scheduled for the spring. And I saw one of the individuals that was here at the meeting at a grandson's hockey game, and I went over and talked to him. He said it'll be springtime for a week or anything. So no road takeovers this fall, as far as we know.
I'd make a motion, we accept the new policy
Do I hear
as presented.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded to accept the new road takeover policy. Any discussion?
Is there, it's not a legal issue for the town to maintain a road if they don't, if it's not a town road. Does this make it legal to do that?
I believe we plowed, and I think it gets into the issue with on Jonathan Drive.
Right,
We've been plowing there,
right.
but I guess, we can get you that clarification, but
That is one thought. The other thought I had is the state gonna accept this 20 years down the road, or are they gonna tell the town, well, you better take care of that road, so now you're gonna have to take care of the stormwater, if there's a stormwater issue in the future?
I think that it's,
I mean, I don't have any problem with the proposal. I think it's, it's reasonable, but I just wanna make sure that we ain't, that everything is above board and gonna be legal. The state's gonna accept this, and they're not gonna come back to us, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if we've never signed on as a party to the stormwater permit, then I think they're gonna have a hard time holding us accountable. If the association holds the permit for the road, the association, in the case where they can't separate it, is what I think you're talking about.
Well, yeah, so
In that case, that is still owned by the homeowners association, the road. We're just maintaining it. We're not maintaining the stormwater part of the. So I don't see it as a legal issue.
But I guess the question is, how is the road defined by the state? Is the watershed defined as part of the road? And if we're signing on saying that the language we're putting forth is the maintenance of the road, does the entity of the road contain the watershed?
It's a totally separate permit for the stormwater.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that would be
right, and answering that is a separate, maintaining the road does not mean maintaining of the stormwater permit or the requirements, the pond itself, the retention pond that could be built, could be, off the boundaries of the road, and again, they're still gonna own the road. So I don't
makes sense.
I don't see that as an issue. I could be wrong, but I don't see it that way.
well,
I
don't
can't
think-
predict
I
when
ain't sure it's gonna be an issue either, but
No?
I think we ought to have it looked at and get an opinion, make sure that we're okay, that this is okay to do. And I don't know if any other towns, there must be other towns in the state here that are in the same boat we are, with the stormwater stuff. And I'm wondering if the Vermont leagues and cities and towns, if they're making any kind of legal recommendations for towns.
Well, I can send this down to their legal department.
I don't have a problem with approving it tonight, that's not the issue, because we're not using it yet.
Because we haven't gone for
That's
an
right,
actual,
Right.
okay,
No.
that's,
Can I just ask the question though, how does this get, so let's say we approve it tonight,
right.
and we're gonna go, how does this get communicated to the local developers that are building the developments that possibly in the future this could affect them? Of saying, hey, if you build it to this standard, now the town will maintain that road for you. If it's approved by the select board at the time, you'd have to bring it forward, but how do we communicate that out to them to make it so that way they know these are the new standards that you have to meet?
Through the development review board.
Is it, okay,
They, any new development, they bring in a site plan, that site plan is reviewed at the development review board, and that is something that should be emphasized. The zoning administrator sits at all the development review boards, and the chair of the development review board should be communicated to them. If it's a new development, and here's the road takeover policy, and if you're really thinking you're going in a few years to ask the select board, you ought to come before them now while you're going through this process.
Well, that was just my thought. I was like,
Wherever, no, it's a very good.
And the zoning administrator will have a copy of this. We presently have a copy of the one this is replacing, but they have a copy of it. So,
Yep. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye,
So I'll pass this
Opposed?
around.
so moved.
For signature.
Okay. Discussion of draft 2025 proposed highway budget. I just wanted, or go ahead.
No, just let the board know it is not the one that's in the packet. It's the one that was handed out prior to the meeting that we're looking at it.
So, just wanted to spend just a couple minutes on this. The first few items through the child care taxes, no 2025 number, because we don't have those figures yet. They should be coming fairly soon, Kathy. I don't know when you'll get all the info regarding the insurance and that sort of thing.
The insurance, I just got the email today,
Okay.
so we did a calculation on that, and then everything else is based on your,
The raised piece of it, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay. So
What was the insurance at?
health insurance.
Yeah, but how much?
And it depends on what plan it is.
They didn't go, they just go up 10 or
It's about
12%.
9, I think, 9.2, I think, was it, calculate 9.2?
9 something.
Did you shop that?
Well, we only have 2 providers you can go with, it's either MVP or Blue Shield Blue Cross, and MVP is the lesser of the 2. Unfortunately, we only have 2
Well,
insurances to choose from.
the entire
and then
state
the
law.
individual, they choose which plan
Right,
they want,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if they can choose any plan they want
Within
within the plan,
MVP.
Okay.
within MVP, they can't, that's.
When you're saying they can choose any plan, there's only a family or single, right?
Well, there's family, then there's 2 people, and then there's family, 2 people, and then, well, still 2 people, it's like a mother and a child or something like that.
But it's cost dependent on the choice of the individual.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Can you explain, you just gave this to us, so the first column is the actual budget that we had proposed last year.
Yes.
The second column is what we spent to date. And the third one over is what we have left remaining.
Correct.
So if we added those 2 together, the second and third column, what would that give us? Would it equal the 2,248,636?
Well, if we're
Yeah,
up to,
they would.
Yeah.
You're going down too far, but if you add that 365 to the 1 million something, you're gonna come up close to
Okay,
1
I'll
million.
go back up
Yeah.
there, okay.
so highway goes to the subtotal piece.
But can I just ask, the percent change here, what is that a percent change from? Is that from the planned budget or is that the actual?
It's the increase, the change in the budget for
It's
this
the
year,
change, okay.
25 to 24 to 25 over 24.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the up to child care tax, we don't have a number in there yet. Natural gas, no change. Electricity, no change. Street lights, no change. Telephone increased to 3,000. Uniforms increased to 7,500 because we went over. But we're gonna watch that one a little closer. Trash with
How
no
come we
change.
went over? Is there more uniforms or they raised
There's
their
been
rates?
a few more there's been a few more uniforms, but the rates have gone up, but it's not the rates on the product, it's the rates on getting it here. They have a fuel charge, they have
And this happened
Other
after.
freight
Yeah.
charges.
yeah.
And I also talked to Kevin, maybe we shop around a little bit, but.
Yeah.
Next, insurance, did not put anything in under insurance yet. Stone, wanna reduce that down to 5,000. We don't expect a big need for stone next year. Sand, we wanted to keep it 17,000. Chloride at 3. Salt at 33. Hot and cold patch, we wanted to increase that because we think we're gonna need a little more, so that was 2,000. Culverts and sign, we're comfortable at 4,000. Road line painting, we're not getting enough done. We wanted to increase that a fair amount, up to 18,000, and we do not expect to go with a local guy again this year. Not real happy with what we got for 2 cents less a lineal foot. Anyway, we want to do more mileage next year. Road resurfacing, wanted to keep it the same. Garage maintenance, that's a big jump, but that's to pave the actual area between the buildings there. It's in rough shape. It's been in rough shape for years. Could have thrown that number in the road resurfacing, but really consider it part of the garage maintenance cost. So that's why that figure's there. Janitorial supplies, no change. Parts, supplies, repairs, no change. That 7,000 we think was significantly higher than normal with a few of the truck repairs. Gas, oil, and grease, 45,000 should be good. I know there's a pretty good balance there right now, but there might be a few outstanding bills. Plus, this has probably got about 6 weeks worth of purchases still coming. Equipment rental purchase, 28,000 last year. We think 15,000 is going to be more than enough. Tool upgrade, stay at 2,000. Tree service, we wanted to add a couple grand, so we went to 12. Stormwater permits, $10,000. That's permit fees plus engineering, but that's assuming the carryover of that 19,998 that wasn't spent. So really, it's a budget of 30,000, but it's carrying over that 19,998.60.
Is that gonna cause any issues next year looking back though, that we're gonna spend 30,000 but the budget was only 10?
I think it raised a question, but I think we can explain it. I think we need to document the carryover, and that's the same thing about the next item. There should be the full carryover, that 162. We thought we originally might have to spend 300,000 up there. We feel comfortable we're going to be able to do that for an additional 60,000. So if we carry over to 162 and we add the 60,000 to it, that'll cover the work that needs to be done up there, the blasting, the stone, and the paving.
But we show it,
So you're gonna designate that carryover for
Correct.
certain things.
Yes, there's 3 items on here I would like to carry over, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it tonight. The stormwater money, the road improvement money, and Brooklyn Street. When we'll get to Brooklyn in just a minute. No change on employee training, no change on roadside disposal, no change on interest on loans, town garage loans still pay off another 10,000 additional to what the voters voted. That's because we haven't done anything with 4th Street yet. Beautification project, bumped that up to 4,000 as the board voted to do last meeting. Brooklyn Street, money spent so far is surveying and engineering at 4,000. We are very comfortable. We can do the actual work that needs to be done in that $35,000. So we'd like to carry that over. So that's the 3rd item. We would like to carry that money over. Engineering services stay at 2,000. So these are some pretty significant reductions. After we get the employee pay raises in, we can take another look, maybe bump up the road resurfacing. I think the price of oil is stable right now, and if anything, is not going to go up for a while. So I don't see the cost of paving going up significantly. Last year we did 3.8 miles. When we've got around 56 miles of roads that we pave, it's about 14-15 years to resurface a road. So that number, pretty comfortable with it, 450, because we're also going to be doing what's not in that road resurfacing there is in the road improvement project. When we get done on Swanton Hill, we're going to pave up there the whole length of that road. So I think we've got enough money to cover paving.
And that's gonna come out of the 450?
Not Swanton Hill, that comes out of the separate line item of, road improvement projects.
So at 160,000, that's gonna,
160 plus the 60,
oh,
Be
plus
220.
220.
yes.
So, can I just ask, if we collected the money last year for and budgeted, why did we not use it when we collected?
We knew that the two real tough one, well, I would say stormwater is the toughest of all of them, because we just don't have answers totally with the state. We knew that Swanton Hill, we didn't know how much we could get done, and it got into, part of it's a permitting and an engineering issue, so that just, we now know that we're gonna stay pretty much on the same road. We may have to go out into the shoulders just a little bit, work with the landowners, but that design is almost complete now.
Okay.
So we'll be ready to do that work in the spring, and then Brooklyn Street Stormwater needed a wetlands permit.
Oh,
So
that's
that's what that didn't get done in 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
obviously, somebody's put a lot of hard work in this, and looks like it's hopefully gonna be a nominal increase. It would be helpful for me, I'm trying to make notes as you're talking.
Yep.
Could you,
Summarize.
yeah.
I wanted to have them done today.
Okay.
Didn't get there. I will bullet.
You're talking about moving this here and that over here and taking some money from that one, all makes sense, but I can't follow it.
I will for next. Yes, when we have the one that we're ready to approve, you will have bullets explaining those. Yes, and that way we can document the carryover, and it's all on record that that's what we.
And then the taxpayers can see it.
And I'm pretty confident this one is going to be 0 increase or a decrease, just because of those bigger projects, and that'll get us back to a more normal number that we go with. But that's what I wanted to cover on that, just as a heads up, and we'll have a final number hopefully for the next meeting. Any other discussions on that?
Can I just ask, what's the length that we get for the road line paint? Like, how many miles is that?
Oh, what was that number? We had 12,000. If I remember right, that's around. Oh, what was it? It was. Yeah, it's almost $1,000 a mile. So yeah, we probably got 10 something miles. There's a few roads we just don't do. Some of them, the class 2 roads, the state does.
Okay, yeah.
So we don't have to cover all of our roads.
So even with the anticipated, or you might have a number in mind for salary increases, you still think that with the reallocation of funds that we would look at under a 2-3% increase?
We will be under that.
Okay.
I'm quite confident.
Well, I'm
we
just
can.
getting you a little leeway.
Yeah. I'm pretty confident. I'm very confident. And
Good.
I'm looking forward to us deciding on the increases, and then we can finalize this budget and get it approved. Okay.
These actual numbers are to the end of November,
Actually, they're as of today.
as of today, okay.
Old Town business, boundary line adjustment update.
Nothing to report. That still, the attorneys are working on it.
We're past the 30 days.
Oh, yeah. That expired, November 15th.
Oh, we should, call our attorney and tell him we're kind of in a hurry.
I did that.
Don't send him an email either, talk to him.
And the same with the 4th Street property. They were supposed to get something to us, the engineers, for last week, they didn't come, so I left a message today, I called them, left a message, say we're still looking for it, so.
Yeah, very frustrating because we were hoping to get approval to do the testing before the ground. It's the frost is deep enough that we can't punch some holes in it. Correction of the new road name, page 11.
So when I changed the names with the listers, Jim did not think that we should go with Reeves Road because it gives the idea that it's a road and it goes to somewhere, and he prefers it to be drive. He called Travis and Travis was like, oh, that's even better idea. So I need a motion to change it from Reeves Road to Reeves Drive. And Kevin had not ordered the sign yet.
I'll entertain a motion to make the change.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Earl and seconded by Nicole. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Library weatherization, based on Laz's, information that he gave us, there were a few items that we could move ahead with. One was the weatherization of the windows and the doors in the original building, and the other was, putting a fire stop on the top of the elevator. So what Christina has done, is put together a request for proposal. So if everybody's good with that, I'd like to get this, sent out.
And I won't include this, I just.
You wanna
put that
include the
there so
last page,
it's-
that's just information
that's
for
just
people.
for us to-
So we're gonna make motion to put that out?
I think we probably should, and,
Alright,
then we would cover that under the, special funds that we had.
Yeah.
That whole list item.
I'll move that we, post this, proposal.
I have that red card you gave me, I will send it to that.
Yeah.
Motion's been made, do I hear a second?
Second.
Steve seconds it, any further discussion?
When we send that out, are we gonna have those numbers on the site?
No, that
Oh,
won't be
That-
there, it would just be the first 2 pages. That was just so you have reference of what he said we should do. And it would just be those
Well,
two.
it's gonna be all of these items.
No, it's
No,
just gonna be
just number
items
one.
1,
Just
The
2,
front page,
and
the front
5.
page, Steve.
1 and 5.
That's fine.
Which are listed on the actual request for
Look at the back,
proposal
look at the front.
I know, but it says
at the
2.
beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And there'll be a site visit, so it'll be discussed with the contractor,
Very well.
what we're looking to have done.
I just found it.
And what's the minimum number of bids that we need to get? Is it 3?
Hopefully,
Some-
hopefully we'll get
some-
one.
Hopefully 3, but,
Okay.
you know, somebody may say, well, we tried to get 3 for the,
Yeah.
and we got 2.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was a minimum requirement.
No, we would definitely would like to see competition,
Do you want it in the paper?
How do you normally handle it?
Normally we would send it to a handful of people that we've normally had do work.
Yeah.
Do you want it in the paper? There's time. What
how
is
much
it?
it costs us?
Probably not a bad idea to put it in the paper
Do
though.
it as a picture, $200. A day. A
It
day,
should
a
go in
day.
the local paper. I mean, I see those bids, I read the local paper.
So you wanna adjust your motion
You see all those bids there.
to advertise it in the paper, send it out, and
Yeah.
it will all come out of the special funds?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
All comes out of the special fund. Notify the people you normally do, but you
And
should
then I'll
put it
just
in the
put it in the
paper
messenger once,
Yeah.
twice?
twice probably, because there might be a contractor out there and they hear about the job after the fact, and they say, how come you didn't advertise it? So this way, at least, hey, it wasn't, that's, there we can show
I
them.
will do
when
it
that's-
this Friday and next Tuesday.
Yeah.
And
So
then next
you're amending
Friday,
your motion to put it in the paper twice and the
Yeah.
local paper twice, do you,
Yep.
and Steve's good with that?
Okay,
Alright.
this is just item number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Correct,
well, it's really 1 and 5 on Laz's paper.
but 1 and 2 on the,
On the-
request for
What we
proposal.
have here.
Yes. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, so moved. Nicole, welcome sign.
So I did put out a survey, I got some interesting feedback that I just wanted to share with you guys as we move forward on the signs. On the front page is the actual survey itself, I gave some options of some ideas of things that we could put on. And then the second page is the input, we received 97 responses in in about 2 weeks. And to summarize up some of the responses, 58.7% of the folks that responded liked the idea of some sort of graphic image on the sign versus an actual photo. And then there was just some additional feedback that I couldn't help but keep to myself, so I wanted to make sure you all got the chance to read it. There has, a few people have reached out to me regarding the signs themselves, and if we do decide to go the graphic design route, there are some local artists that might be interested in proposing some sort of design for the sign itself. I'm not sure how much that would change the cost if we went with a graphic design instead of Swanton welcomes you, and it was just that design itself.
And then there was the original photo that was in the, what I handed out last
So,
week.
so, you call this a lot of work, but how did this originate? You decided to send a survey out, did we ask you to do that, or?
We talked about it
Yeah.
last time, yeah.
Okay, good, good.
I've seen a couple of these graphic ones in other towns, and they do kind of stand out. They're done well. Franklin's got a real nice one.
You know,
I see strong support for the Swans.
I mean, they were second in line, which with all the mixed reviews, but I think too, some sort of graphic design would allow us to promote Swanton.
Yeah.
It would also give us kind of that one Swanton look, maybe that we're all striving to move towards as we collaborate on things, but then, that lower piece lets us recognize the different municipalities, the Abenaki, and then some interesting feedback about having the high school on there. Maybe if we don't say the high school, we just put home of the Thunderbirds, because the all athletes go, or all kids that go to MVU are Thunderbirds, and they live here too.
So what was the issue with the school?
Some folks didn't like that it said home of, I think it says, I can't see it on mine, MVU High School underneath the Thunderbird
Oh, okay.
logo. They just wanted it to say Thunderbird and not MVU High School, because technically the majority of it's in Highgate and not Swanton.
Okay, so that's one person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Somebody thought it was a waste of money.
You can't always please everybody, but I think it was a nice way to just allow
I
everybody
think
to
it's a
share
good
their
idea.
feedback.
Yeah.
When you
As
got
someone who
97
grew up in Highgate, I'd be quite annoyed by Swanton trying to stake a claim to MBU. I don't think we're trying to stake a claim to MBU. We're trying to say our Swanton students go to MBU, and if people want us to
If
renew
they
that.
could claim, they're gonna send us a bill for the roof.
All right,
So what does this do?
I guess it's up to us to decide, do we wanna propose someone do a graphic that, we'll have to pay for the graphic, which isn't the end of the world, but, we get the winner, I guess, to do it, if that's what we wanna do, or we go with the photo. Again, I don't have my, stuff from last,
The original photo that you chose was of Town Hall, and that is.
it was not the photo that was.
No,
Not
I had
that
the
one.
church in there.
Yeah, and some of the green of the park
Yeah.
and stuff, there's a lot different
Yeah.
than that.
We gotta do something that encompasses both the town and the village. That's why I'm looking at the view of the community. And that's both town and village, if you look at that, right?
That's right.
The area.
Aerial.
Yeah, Then we each can get some recognition.
I think if we could do that same thing on that graphic sign, it would add a lot more. The graphic has more character than just the aerial view of the community.
And that graphic was just something
Yeah,
I
I mean,
used
right,
generated
right.
with
Oh,
I
that's
generated with
fine.
AI, so it's
Right,
not.
right.
It was just for
Yeah.
people to get their minds working.
I like the graphic as well. I think that's why I've seen a lot of the newer signs I've seen in communities recently, and so I think similar to what you had there of the image before. I like that. I also like the home of the Thunderbirds too. I think that's a nice thing. I think I saw that in Alberg, or there was one other place, might have been Rouse's Point, that I saw their welcome sign that had that for them. So I like that idea. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the graphic design.
This would encompass a lot of what we're trying to.
And if there's certain colors, we can have that built into
Do
it.
we wanna put out a request for proposal
For a graphic
for
sign.
graphic?
I think we could. Yeah.
People give us what they think they they might charge us to do a graphic.
And then we'll have to look at probably some different designs and different options and that, that we can bring forward, but, the graphic one, you can take in, the Abenakis, the town, the village, you can get a little section for agriculture, you can get a little section for the refuge, you can get, cause up in Franklin, that one up there, I was really impressed with it.
And you don't need to say Swanton, Vermont there, because on the sign itself, it says
Yeah.
Swanton welcomes you, so you got more space
Yep.
to make the graphic, with as much, diversity is not really the word I wanna use, but with as much info or, Okay, so how do we go about doing that?
Make a motion to put out an RFP and then we'll get it out to folks and let them come back with some designs.
What we need to do if we're gonna do the RFP then is give them the approximate size of that oval in the sign, so I'll
What's
work
up?
with whoever does that.
What were those? Do you have a size on these?
That's what I'm saying, I need to get that info to put it in the RFP
Yeah.
so they understand what they are working with.
What if they came back with a square rather than an oval? Would they be okay with that?
I think so,
Yeah,
I mean,
leave it open, let them
Yeah.
wander with their imagination.
give them the approximate area to work with, I guess is the way to do that, yeah. Okay? I think Christina and you can work on an RFP and I can help you with, trying to get some dimensions there for the sign.
Good job.
Okay, we get the motion by Nicole, do I hear a second?
Yeah.
Brandon seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. New town business, discussion of salary increases for town employees for 2025.
Okay, what's the, whatever they call it? Cost of
CPI.
living. Yeah.
CPI?
Well, it's all over the board. We don't have the end of November CPI. They're not gonna publish it until the 11th of December. But generally speaking, from looking at things, it's in the range of around 3% is the CPI. I've had, and that's, without the November figure. I went a couple of different ways. I took it each month and then averaged it, and it's still coming out.
That would be the more
It's still coming
appropriate.
out about 3.02 to 3.4. One of the indexes, it did get it crept up to 3.5.
Well, the thing is, when you take a CPI for 1 month, it's just a shot in time.
Yeah.
1 day,
Right.
1 month. If you average it, I think it's a little more
Mhm.
fairly representative of what really took place.
Yeah.
I think your averaging probably would be more fair. Whether it's in a declining or falling environment.
You're saying that's 3%, roughly average right now.
Yeah, 3%, 3.5. Social Security is given a 2.5 rate increase. I got all excited doing research this afternoon because I saw that Social Security was given 3.5% until I went and looked and it was the Social Security of Australia. I was on the wrong website.
2.57.
Yeah, something like that.
I think given the increase in property tax and stuff, not just for Swanton specific, not the CPI of the country, I'm interested in something in the 4 to 5%. I throw that out there as a possibility.
The other thing, I think we don't wanna balance the budget on the backs of our employees, that's for sure.
Right.
But we wanna be careful of the precedent that we might set. If we think the CPI, the average CPI over the past trailing 12 months is good, that makes sense. But then what do we do next year? And I know what you're saying, Joel, I mean, everything else is going up. The seniors aren't gonna get a raise over above the 2.57.
Yeah,
That's a tough one.
I look at the employee salaries as a, 16% or so of the highway budget, whatever that, number comes out to be. It's not like the full 5% is part of that budget. And that's just the highway, the different story for the general budget. And again, it's a tough one because the CPI doesn't, there isn't a Swanton CPI or the state of Vermont CPI, but when you look at the increase in, what's
I
that?
did find one for Burlington area, which we're in the Burlington area for the census, but it was coming in about and I don't know how accurate it is, it was like 3.5.
Yeah, which is not near 4%,
So, but, I was surprised to see that they had it published, actually.
Yeah, there's two CPIs, there's the urban index and the national index, so
Yeah.
the urban is probably more fair to us.
Do we have any options on insurance? Do we have a health savings plan?
What we do is, we have in the budget, or in the general fund, that we do a $6,000 a year that goes into a savings account that helps offset their, deductible.
Co-pays,
Deductibles.
deductibles, okay, yeah,
Right.
deductible, co-pays, you gotta remember that. So that fund must have a fair amount of money in it.
It has about, off the top of my head, I say it's about 34,000 in it.
Can you raise the deductible on insurance? And then we increase would there be a net gain there?
In
Increase
regards
the
to-
health savings account amount, and then raise the deductible on the policy. What is the deductible right now, do you know? I mean, you probably ain't gonna have an answer tonight, but.
that's set by the insurance company though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deductible?
Yeah.
No, it
Well, the
can't-
thing is, we offer the plans, the employee picks the plan, we can't tell them that you need to take this plan because we're gonna do this deductible thing now. They get to choose, they get all the plans that MVP offers.
and they choose
And
their
they
own
choose their
deductible?
own, exactly.
Yeah.
You can't tell them that we're gonna do this higher deductible because we're gonna have this money. You can't do that, that's not ethical as far as insurances go, or a number of different things. We have the MVP plans, they get offered to the employees. There's like $6, I think, that come, and
So the only option we would have would be to increase the copay,
in regards to
what the employees pay. You pay a share of your insurance, don't you?
right, yeah,
We could increase that amount, that's the only option. We can't change the deductible because everybody can pick their own deductible.
right.
Okay. Alright. And what is the rate that you're paying right now as a copay? What percentage?
You mean as far as the insurance goes for the
Yeah,
employee?
yeah.
16.5.
16.5.
Are you confusing copay with
No,
a contribution?
wow, you call it a
Our
contribution?
the employee's portion of the insurance, as you're
Right.
asking,
Yeah.
what percentage
Yeah, that's
we
what
pay.
I'm-
Right.
Yeah,
So
That's
how
set
mu-
by the select board?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not copay, it's just
It's
how we
it's-
balance out
it's
the
right.
pay, the cost of
Yeah.
insurance.
Now,
Right.
I know some organizations will do incentivized of we will match your HSA deposit of the first $1,000 or whatever, or we'll give you a match if you choose this one with a deductible versus one with no deductible.
So do our employees have HSAs, Kathy?
No,
They don't. So we kinda have our own general HSA
exactly.
that everybody can,
And we do,
Yeah,
we have one.
pretty much.
The municipality has one, not
Yeah,
each individual
right.
employee
Right.
has one.
But it goes to pay
The deductible.
the deductible for the employee.
but each employee is allocated a portion of that. They just
Whatever-
can't keep dipping and dipping and dipping.
No, once you meet your deductible on your insurance, it's done. So if they have a $2,000 deductible and they spend $2,000 in deductible, either going to the hospital or whatever, then it doesn't start over, because they won't pay any more deductible that year once you met your deductible.
So do we cover
just
their
pay your
deductible then
co-pays.
out of that fund?
Exactly.
But each one is only allocated their respective share of that big fund.
Exactly.
They can't go in and take part of Earl's and.
Oh, God,
share
no.
it on it. Oh,
No,
no, it's just-
But can I just
No,
ask the question though, if we have all these different options though, this is just informational for myself, why would somebody ever choose the one with the lower deductible then if we know that this fund is going to cover the deductible for them?
because, lower deductible. Because the lower, everything changes with every plan you take. It might be, the deductible might not only the deductible might not only change, the deductible go up or go down, but also your prescriptions could go up.
Oh, okay.
You
The
may
monthly
not-
cost for the
Coverages.
insurance
Right.
itself.
Exactly, cause you may, like, if you have like a physical therapy for some reason, one plan might only let you have 10 visits, or another plan might have you have 20 visits, or
Okay.
there's,
Makes
they
sense.
vary a lot.
Alright, thank you.
So, are you asking this in terms of
Well, I guess,
increase for employees, or how we figure the COLA?
if we're gonna go, because I don't think our employees are overpaid, in today's world.
No, definitely.
You know, $40,000-$50,000 a year is not a big salary, anymore. You're not gonna get rich on that. You can live, yes. But there's only a limit how much we can afford to do. And I think with healthcare costs getting so high, everybody's gotta contribute. And I would be more inclined to go with a higher pay raise, but I think we ought to get a little bit on the healthcare side, just because the increases over the last couple, 3 years have been pretty substantial.
Is open enrollment already done though for next year?
No, it's starting right now.
It's starting now. Is that enough time to give them of if we made changes? Is there enough time for them to even make the right informed decision for themselves?
It's December 3rd.
Yeah. No, to be honest with you, cause it has to be done by month end.
Can we back up then on the health? We have MVP, which has plans for family and that sort of thing, so you pick with an MVP.
Yeah.
Is there another health insurance company?
Blue Shield Blue Cross.
Okay.
But it's even a lot higher.
Right,
than-
but so, okay, so they're, but they
So-
can choose within those.
Just the MVP, cause that's what we offer.
Yeah, go.
That's all we offer?
Right.
Okay,
We'll start
So-
if we go Blue Cross.
so what were you suggesting, Earl? So if we go a little higher on how much we raise the pay,
Yeah.
you asking for the employee to pay more for medical?
No, I'm asking, yes, they would pay more of their own insurance. They're,
So
what do you
essentially-
call it, Steve, so we don't get confused again? I call it a copay, you call it a
Contribution.
contribution.
But then essentially you're not giving them that large of the pay raise, because you're taking out the
I know,
medical,
I
and
know.
then some don't get medical through us because spouse or somebody gets it. So I don't know,
Well, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. You can't just give them an increase over here and then take it away on the other side of the ledger.
That-
That's just a
and
shut.
especially because it's gonna impact some and not the others, because not everyone is gets
Well,
medical through us.
I mean, most businesses are doing something because of the cost of health care. You know, it's just there.
The
Yeah, that's
village, the village is increasing theirs to eventually go, because they were quite low in their contribution. And so that eventually they'll be up to 10%. And they're through the same plan,
Yeah, they have the same
Same.
company.
And what are we paying?
16
16 and a half.
What's the village talking about for salary employees?
Talking with Bill, they were looking at 3.5 to 3.8. And I said, well, at 3.8, we'll go with 4, you know, if that's what we were finding out, so.
That's the side of the table you're sitting on, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, but yeah, when you look at it, 0.2%. But,
Not that much.
yeah, but in any case, so that's what they're looking at, and they haven't decided yet, but that's what they're
When we looked at the potential of a merger of the two facilities, Swanton Town and Swanton Village, one of the big areas of concern was the village people were paid a lot more than the town people. And just to bring that up, to true it up, was a substantial amount of money. So I'm glad to hear that they're similar in what we might look at.
Well, that was back in the days when they also had the Cadillac plan.
Oh, yeah.
And they kept it in their retirement.
So I think what I'm struggling with though is it's one thing to talk about percentages, but to not know what that dollar amount actually is for the budget. Right? So as we're talking like 3-4%, is that a large difference in total sum for salaries?
You go 4% on 300,000, what's that?
12,000.
About 12,000.
Then doesn't it flow down, Kathy, into the rest of the categories?
Oh, it affects all.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
luckily, most of those are less, except for the health insurance at 80,000, but the health insurance increase is separate, right?
Exactly.
And that
Right,
premium
that's-
increase is not
right.
related to what we pay
Exactly.
the employees, it's
Right.
related to what the health insurance company charges us.
Exactly.
But does it raise unemployment then? Because then does unemployment insurance go up because their salaries are higher?
That goes on it does, but it goes on a rating. So basically, depending on what, we get our rating every June based on unemployment, people signing up for unemployment.
Okay.
So sometimes, like right now, we're paying 2.3%. And you can go, I mean, I've been here when it's been high as 6%. It can go, it depends on how much activity you have with unemployment.
Okay.
So that line item right now is $4,000,
Yeah.
let's say. So 4% of that would be $160.
And,
So the biggest increase is at 12,000, and then if you look at
so
part-time employee would be, fairly small. Yeah.
Employer share,
And
social
what's the
security.
retirement is also
So-
impacted, right?
Excuse me?
Yes.
Retirement is also impacted.
Yes.
So I look at those as 21, this is just highway, 21, 20, so it's 40,000, 55,000, 4,000, so you're talking about 60,000. 4% be what, $2,400 added to the 12,000,
But
so
is
you're
it,
talking about 15,000.
and is that flat across all
Yes.
employees? So it's not performance based. It's not
No.
like here's your goal and then depending
Right.
on that, it's just flat or if it was 4%.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let me just throw something out for discussion. If we settle on a number of 3.5, or the CPI on average plus a factor, should we try to save that down here somewhere? Look for ways to save.
You will done with this budget, I was already looking into that when I was telling you that I'm very
Okay,
comfortable with.
so we ended up with a $20,000 increase over
Yeah.
last year. We can save that down here.
Yes, which we do because of, again, with the,
Sure.
just alone on the road improvement project, we're asking for 60,000, last year we budgeted 162,000. So there's 100,000
Budgeted for those expenses.
difference right there in the budget.
Well, that's a good way to sell that. If we say, sure, we've got some valued employees, we wanna compensate them fairly, but we saved it down below, that's an easy sell.
I mean, we're talking about, at the end of the day, right? Let's look whole budget here. We're talking even the $20,000 increase overall, we're talking less than a 1% increase of the budget.
Should be.
So
If
if you're
you're-
saying that we're essentially ending even here with our rollover of items, and that 4% or whatever that might be is gonna be roughly $20,000 at most, then it's less than a 1% increase.
It's less than 1%, and we've actually, with the cut in the road improvement project in the Brooklyn Street, because Brooklyn Street, we're gonna ask for 0, so that's 40,000 there. The 140,000 coming out of those two line items alone.
And-
So,
And that, to me personally, I'm all for, I would much rather be aggressive with it and retain talent. Then I know that there's also, you lose people if you don't treat them fairly, and not to say anything, nobody's not being treated fairly, but without the proper increase year over year to make sure that it's still a livable wage, you could lose that talent, and it's gonna cost us more in the long term.
The only thing you need to, consider, Brendan, is, it's 4% here, but it's gonna be 4% on the general budget too.
And on the library, and on the rec,
And, yeah.
So I guess
Across the
that's
board.
when I get back to like full numbers, that I can see it in the context here of less than 1%, but
Yeah.
to make like a real decision, I feel like we have to see that across the board.
But I'd like to ask Kathy, our general budget, are we gonna have a carryover in that too?
Probably.
Kind of looked like, I was looking at it tonight before it came up, it looked like we were gonna have some money left over.
We usually do.
So that 4% may not impact the tax rate that much if we do it across the board for everybody.
yeah, the highway had some circumstances this year that makes that much easier, so to your point, general will not have that.
Okay.
So how and what could be possibly looked at in the general is a different animal.
Here's my next question, we haven't done much budget stuff. What's the fire department, are they
We
coming?
don't know.
No idea whatsoever.
You should know something.
The police department.
Lynn told me they would have the numbers for us by the end of the second week in December.
You know, and the rec budget, I'm assuming you guys are gonna be in the same ballpark where you've been, you're not coming in with any big increase in expenses?
And the only increase would be salary, we
Okay.
need help.
And then rescue, we haven't heard from.
Right, so, and we should get some of those numbers, cause that could affect the whole overall budget if they're gonna do something, but I don't know, what are we thinking? We're not proposing any new spending this year. I mean, maybe some minor stuff might come in, you know, for the, sign or promotion or beautification, but yeah.
This, the sign, the graphic, we still could use the special
Yeah.
funds, we got enough in there so I don't see any significant, I don't know on the general side if, you really thinking of anything really significant that you know of or aware of?
Are we gonna have a discussion on the reserve funds?
I think next, I want that on the agenda for next
Because
meeting.
that's like trying to put your hands around a greased watermelon.
Reserve or the special fund?
Well.
Actually, both, we should talk about both.
Yeah, both, because, you know, we've got the museum, we've got the library, we've got that report that you started working on a while ago, we were
Yep.
looking at today. We got a lot of money needs in there,
No,
and it's not gonna be 50,000 a year, it's not, maybe it'll be 75 or 100. So we gotta take it all in context, I think.
Well, one way is probably if we were gonna get this started this year, and we'll see how this, local income tax, the sales tax goes, next year or whatever,
Yeah.
but we could start small this year, maybe just ask for 25,000, start the fund.
We started it last
Oh, we
year.
did?
We did
yeah,
that
we
last year.
voted in 25 last
Well,
year.
so
right?
that's,
We did an article
yeah,
to do.
okay, all right, then we're gonna keep doing that. then.
We're looking for January.
But that's not new money. That was asked for last year.
Right.
I'm talking about new money this year.
But look at the truck.
Well,
that we
isn't it,
bought.
it's gonna be every year.
Yeah, it's
We-
a
we put in-
continuous, we put it in to do a continuous $25,000.
We don't have to vote on it every year.
No, we voted on it last year.
It's
to do
kinda, it's
that.
kinda like the fund for the highway.
Right, for the truck replacement,
Right. Yeah,
And that started out small, what is it now, 50,000 a year? Is it enough?
50,000.
highway's
Yeah.
50, yeah.
Yeah, not enough anymore.
And we just raised it last year from 37.5 right to 50.
It probably ought to be 75 this year, considering what that's doing. I just saw something in one of the papers, they bought a truck for $1 million, was it St. Albans town, or maybe it was in the wrong paper?
Probably a fire.
Fire truck, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that.
Yeah, so,
We bought a few of those out.
Drives itself.
Is that-
I say it must drive itself.
Yeah. That would be electric.
Yeah.
There's a story.
Well, you
Now,
gotta get a motion.
I would like to, if you
Okay,
think,
all right.
we've talked, I mean, we've discussed it in pretty good detail, and we know that it's gonna not impact the highway budget like it will the general budget, but it's, in today's world of increases, it's keeping our people.
And
as
even in the
mentioned.
general budget, if we don't propose any new kind of spending, it's not gonna have a real big impact on the tax rate. And, you know, I do feel that we have a good employees, very dedicated to this community, especially the highway department. I mean, the way they keep that place looking is unbelievable. And the way they maintain stuff and the way they take care of the roads, so, and our salaries are not, we're not the leaders in
But
salaries.
if we make a decision,
No.
if we make a recommendation, will we just take that under advisement until we get anything else?
I don't think so.
No, I think if we're gonna do the numbers, we're gonna have to make a
Okay.
decision.
It's
You got us
we're
with the
in
fire
December,
department,
to-
police.
Yeah. And I'll move that we go with the 4%. Across the board.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to give employees a 4% increase for 2025. Any further discussion?
I abstain from voting, because I'm a town employee.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state aye.
Alright.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Good discussion, everybody. Discussion of employee Christmas appreciation.
Last year, the employees, which I believe there was 15, received, and that's the people here in the office, plus the animal control, and at that time, and also the health officer, received a Visa gift card valued at
part of that funding because we didn't take one as select board.
That's
members.
correct, that's
You
correct.
continue with that?
That was in the motion too.
Yeah, that was in the
Yeah.
motion too.
Just wanna make sure we continue.
I don't have a problem with doing the same thing. I mean, did the employees, did you, better than a hand?
That was
Oh,
enough.
yes.
Better than a hand?
Well, yeah, you can buy anything you want.
You buy it.
At the grocery store.
You can get a couple of hands.
Couple bags.
Liquor store.
So you could afford prime rib then.
Not with my kids. Actually, they go on sale probably.
My silly question is, did we budget it?
Where do you?
Where did that come out of the budget, Ted?
I think they
Oh
just
my
brought
God, I
that
have to go
special
back and
fund.
look.
Would it be miscellaneous?
Miscellaneous
Yeah.
between,
Yes.
I would do the count between the highway and the general, but the highway and the miscellaneous for there and the miscellaneous for there.
Need a motion to bring it to, for 150 again?
Right.
Or did Earl make that? Did you make that motion?
No, I didn't
We
make a
didn't.
motion yet, but yeah, if you want me, I guess, if everybody's happy with it, I don't, I think it's a good idea.
Let's do it.
You want me to make a motion?
One of-
Alright, I move that we, give all our employees the same employee list as last year.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
don't need to add nobody new on it,
No.
okay? The $150 Visa gift card.
Second.
It was the same, it's the same number of bodies, different
Right.
people in some cases, the same number
Yeah, right.
of individuals.
Motion's been made and seconded for the employees to receive a $150 Visa gift card as appreciation for Christmas. Any further discussion? Hearing none? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Resignation of planning commission, that is on 14. For those,
One was Ed's term was done. I didn't look in the book. That was gone, I forgot.
Not sure what it was, yeah, maybe, he was thinking of, he originally said when the plan, when everything was up to speed here, zoning revision, which we'll talk about in a bit.
So he would be someone would fill his term till it expired. Same as somebody on the select board, right?
Fill the term until town meeting day or?
No, well, maybe, I don't know.
reappoint,
We are,
right?
it's an
Yeah.
appointed position.
Yeah.
And who's up in 25?
25, so it.
So he'd be done.
Yeah, be done in 25.
Can we appoint somebody and not have to reappoint in March or?
I'm not, see, their terms may actually be in June, but I'm not sure.
It says June.
June.
June
Yeah.
25.
So, no, so, we probably should, ideally should have somebody appointed, like, fairly soon, like, almost immediately, because of, to get quorum, to make sure there's a quorum on the planning commission due to these bylaw revisions.
My understanding is Jim Pratt's interested.
Yes.
And so it works out that we could appoint him and then if other people, because I don't think he's looking at it long term.
No.
He's looking to help out, because he was asked to help out because of the fact we're gonna be short, and help with the revisions.
Is he still on the
background.
zoning board of
Yes.
adjustment? Is that, there's no conflict there?
No. And he, you know, he's, of course, very active and he's actually attended some of these planning commission meetings, so.
Yeah, I know he's been involved with it for a long.
Yeah, so that, he does plan on wanting to go to the warmer climate during the winter, so he, but at least probably see, and when we give the update that Corey has provided, it'll probably be a done deal, hopefully, at least it'll be to this board.
Well, it might be a done deal, but I still haven't seen anything that they're proposing or any proposed
Right.
changes in the
But we're trying
wording.
to get that, yeah.
Well, if they're gonna come in at a meeting, and expect us to propose it, approve it without even having seen it. It's not really
We won't
realistic.
put it on the agenda, Earl, if we don't get it ahead of time.
Right,
And it better be marked out what's changed,
right.
so
Let's
we
see.
know.
They were supposed to be meeting last Monday, and it was canceled at 5
And a
o'clock.
quorum.
They have-
And that's the whole thing about, if we put Jim in now, it helps them
Yeah,
get
Jim is
along.
always here at
And if
4.
they don't get it to us before he goes down
Yeah.
south, at least he helped keep it moving, and so, I mean, to me,
So,
it's
you know, and so I was gonna attend that meeting last Monday night, and I was planning on it, and then it was canceled, so I was gonna deliver that message to him, but we need to see it.
Well, I don't have a problem appointing Jim. I'll make a motion that we, appoint Jim Pratt to take, Ed Daniels' place. Through
Ed's term.
Through Ed's term, right till the end of his term.
Do I hear a second?
Yep.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hear none? All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
But I really think we should give them a message from the select board, not, you know, I don't
Next
wanna
item of
start-
business, Earl, status on zoning bylaws, so there you go.
You have your,
Okay.
there's an
Can we just talk about Ed just for a second?
Yep.
How long has he been on with planning commission?
Forever.
A long
I
time.
mean, he's done a tremendous job.
Yeah.
I hate to accept his resignation and just say, okay, we accept it. I mean, without just a little,
Well, he needs to be recognized for his efforts, that's for
Absolutely.
sure.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and,
We should put something together.
Yeah, we should give him a plaque or a little card or something, and a thank you with the
I
dates.
mean, the guy was the go-to fellow for anything going on in planning and zoning and
Something that-
whatever. And he did make a recommendation that we consider employing an enforcement officer in his letter. Who takes that up? Would it be the planning
That
commission?
would be even the zoning rewrite.
There's been a lot of talk about that.
Oh, it is
having
gonna be in there?
somebody-
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fine.
When
But
they
anyway,
come to, they're gonna talk about that.
hats off to Ed. He
Yeah.
really, really dedicated. So-
And on that part of it, after doing the zoning administrator's work, it's definitely needs, stuff that needs to be looked at before
Absolutely.
things get too far along in the project.
Okay, that was the motion's been made, seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Do we have to make a motion to get the little plaque or anything?
I think we can get that out of our miscellaneous budget.
So we accepted Ed's resignation, right?
Yeah.
I think we talked about Jim going in. Accepted.
And then it just be, how do you wanna present it? Do you wanna wait till town meeting, or do you wanna do it before, or
He
just?
can't go anywhere, can he?
But it has to be.
Not right now.
It has to be.
We get the thing and then we contact him and see what he wants to do.
Yeah.
He had an illness right now that is
Yeah.
Is
limiting his mobility some
Yeah,
too.
very
so,
much so.
Yeah.
So,
You know, if you put something on the website thinking for a service,
yeah.
yeah, that would be really nice.
Item E under new town business. Now, I'm not sure, I took my note right. Miscellaneous corporation banking resolution.
municipal.
Municipal.
I know that didn't look right.
Corporate resolution.
Corporate banking
So
resolution?
the reason why we're doing it is because we have a new select board member and Tamar's been added as a signer on the account, so we had to update it.
Did you review Ross's, the update from Corey?
Yeah, we went right by that,
All
right?
right,
Update?
All right.
That was only by a lot of.
my apologies. Let's go back to D. Status of zoning bylaw revisions, which
Yeah.
you started, but we, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Earl.
Well, I just think that they should get some of this information to us, because we're the ones that are gonna have to make the final decision. There are some changes that have been made, there may be some changes that we might think need to be made that weren't made. You know, without looking at it, how do we know?
No,
I suggest we tell them that we want 1 month prior to our public meeting that they need to have.
Absolutely.
And that gives us a time to read it and discuss it at a meeting prior to that, if we, as a board, are gonna take a hard stand on something.
And my input is we should also make sure the village trustees get a copy, because they're gonna give input.
Yeah.
It really should be a joint meeting.
Yeah.
Joint meeting, technically we approve it, but we
Right, but they.
be involved in all that.
So would, you probably would work with Ross and,
So we have a meeting on Monday, and when Corey does it, he will have everything highlighted that they've changed, so you can see that. Is it okay if he gives it to you in a PDF where you can view it on your computer before?
that's fine.
Okay, so I can tell him that Monday, that you want that at least 2 weeks before
The board members will.
the board members and the trustees, right?
Yeah.
30 days
30
prior to any meeting we hold for approval.
30 days before you will approve it.
That way we get a
Okay.
chance to look at it and even discuss it if we want to prior to,
And
Public
any
hearing.
edits you want, how do you want to handle that?
Well,
we would propose it as part of that meeting.
Right.
As part of that meeting,
Okay.
you, yeah, 'cause that's, right,
That's where we're gonna get possibly public input and.
that's right.
Would it be,
Yeah.
I can tell them that Monday night.
you
would
will
it be
have,
advisable to send them if we have some thoughts, send them to Brian, so we can go.
Send them Brian a copy, everybody.
Yeah.
can that get approved in one meeting?
Well, I think that takes
No.
2, doesn't it?
So we'll
Right
have
here,
a
right
public
here.
hearing and then we'll go through and,
Public meetings, select board posts, notice.
Planning commission has to hold the first public meeting.
Planning commission holds a
Yeah.
public
So they're
meeting.
supposed to finish it up Monday night.
At the one meeting, you can vote that night in a regular meeting and have it go into effect 21 days after the meeting.
but the planning commission has to have their meeting first.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. But if they come into the meeting and we got changes that you decide that night, then you're gonna have to have another meeting and pass it. But I know of some changes, and Joel and I have talked on when it comes to fees being charged to being charged to the municipality or the school district, and that needs to change. That doesn't make any sense that we're taking it here from the taxpayers and giving it there back, so that's.
And that's something we should feed back to them
Yeah.
now, so they can.
Right.
We could tell
Well, I was
them
going to, if I was at the meeting and say, oh,
Right,
you know.
any other discussion on the bylaws? All right, thank you folks, all right, next item of business. Kathy,
Okay, so
so I don't butcher that name again.
this is the updated select board municipal corporation corporate banking resolution. And we have a new select board number that we needed to add and tomorrow needed to be added, so Michelle sent it to me and it's filled out, so Joel, you're gonna sign 1, 2, 3 places, and everyone else will be 1 and 2. And I'll
Be the
see
newest
that
number,
one
if
too.
there's any overdraft fees, yeah.
So
It
where do
never
I put
happened-
my
it never
account
happened,
information's
so
at the
you're
bottom,
good.
right?
So do we have to approve this
There's my
resolution?
checkbook here.
Yes.
All right, then I'll move we approve this, resolution.
Municipal
okay.
corporate banking resolution.
All right, Earl has made the motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Community and economic development,
Not much, still a lot of inquiries on the phone coming into the zoning office.
Yeah, take it tomorrow.
And we're doing certificate of occupancies and all that good stuff. So all the permits that were issued in the spring are now coming up. They're done, hopefully signed. So-
I think we should give a hats off to all the folks that are spending their own money to start a business here. I received, I bet 5 comments in the last 2 weeks of people saying how impressed they are
Mhm.
with what's going on in
Yeah.
the Swanton Core District. And we really,
Really,
it looks good.
big improvement, absolutely.
Let's go to the district.
I had a cup there the other day and that was good. Okay, any other necessary business?
well, there was one thing also I was gonna mention back to the local option tax. Bill and I are getting together, next Thursday for lunch, and we're gonna, point of drafting out the outline of what we want to get accomplished in the legislature to give it to our representatives and senators so they can get a bill draft.
Okay, please stay on that one.
Oh,
We want that corrected in 25 so we can do something.
Yeah,
Next year.
and when you get that done, Brian, can you put it in our emails, so we can take a look at what you're drafting up?
Well, we don't do the draft.
I know, but I mean, what you're gonna
But
send.
what we're gonna want
Right,
done, how you want it
right.
done, yeah.
Okay, any other necessary business? Correspondence? Public comment? Upcoming events?
Monday, December 9th, 2024, there will be a planning commission meeting at 5 p.m. here at the town offices and by Zoom. The meeting is tentative. Thursday, December 12th, 2024 will be a DRB meeting at 6 p.m. here at the town offices and by Zoom. Tuesday, December 17th, 2024 will be a regular select board meeting at 6 p.m. here at the town offices as well as at Zoom. Tuesday, December 24th, 2024 and Wednesday, December 25th, 2024 is the Christmas holiday and office and operations will be closed.
Okay, thank you. One thing I forgot to mention under highway is, they did plow Friday morning after Thanksgiving, and, they did Monday morning. Even though not much snow, but just enough ice on the roads to, get them out there to sand and salt it and make it safe for buses and for commuters. Okay, executive session for personnel, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we find.
It's DRB,
Development Review Board.
Development Review Board, sorry.
Yeah. No, good question.
I move that we find that we enter executive session for the select board to receive confidential personnel information for which the premature disclosure of it to the general public would clearly place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, roll call. Steve?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes for me. I move that based on our.
Just made findings, the premature disclosure would place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage. We now enter executive session.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Steve?
Yep.
And? Carol?
Yep.
Nicole?
Yes.
Yes for me. All right, we're in the executive session at
Recording stopped.
7:26. I'll entertain a motion, to come out of executive session.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Motion made second to come out of executive session. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we increase Christina's salary to $25 an hour effective immediately.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Steve seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? I think the only discussion is,
The 4% will go on top of that.
Okay.
and the other thing is, we just wanna pass on that we think you're doing a great job here and,
We are
We
so
want
incredibly
some-
grateful for all of your hard work.
any other discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. I'll entertain a motion to pay the health officer $350 a month.
I will make that motion.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state aye. Opposed? So moved. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn at 7:42.
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Thank you, folks.
All right.